I was watching a music video the other day and I heard a little sample in it that I recognized. Listen to the beginning of this song. It was pretty quick. Did you hear it? A little green boy. It was Yoshi. I thought that was pretty cute, but yeah, the song is called Flatline by Frost Children, so check it out. And Yoshi is one of the characters that we're going to talk about today, and one of my favorite video games of all time. I want to talk about Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Super Smash Brothers Melee!
So throughout the years, I grew up with a lot of consoles like the GameCube, the PlayStation 2, the Wii, the PlayStation 3. I didn't grow up with consoles like the Dreamcast or the 64. I will say that the GameCube was the machine that I probably used the most from my early childhood. And I've been wanting to talk about this game for a minute, and I'm so glad we're finally gonna do that. Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube is probably one of the greatest games ever made, and will probably always be that. There's a lot of things about this game that I really love. It's like one of the best games you can play with your friends. It's fun, it's captivating, it has incredible modes. The character list is amazing, and I have just such good memories attached to this game. But one thing I wanted to talk about in specific today is the soundtrack to this game. If you've never really heard of Super Smash Bros. In general, main description would be it's a 4-player fighting game that includes multiple characters throughout the Nintendo world. Uses characters like Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Link, Captain Falcon, Fox, all kinds of characters. But what makes this game so special is that it mixes all these worlds together, but it also mixes all of its music together. There are hundreds of levels that you can play in this game, and each level that you use has specific soundtracks from the game that it comes from. Now, you figure if this is a video talking about how good the soundtrack is, then why aren't we just talking about the games individually? The only thing about that is the soundtracks that they use in this specific game are different. Some of the themes that you know from all these beloved games are different in this game. So by taking all of these incredible characters, their incredible games, blending the soundtracks, blending the stages, blending just everything that each one has to offer, and making something new, we got some of the greatest renditions of some of these songs in one piece. But yes, the theme for today's video is just how incredible this soundtrack is. Let's begin. So Super Smash Bros. Melee is one of those games where if you continuously play it and you keep continuously playing its modes, you will unlock characters, you will unlock stages, and you will completely expand what you can experience in the game. Don't get me wrong, there's still games that do that, but it's a little bit of a pastime when it comes to there being characters that you completely cannot play unless you do specific achievements or things to unlock them. Especially in this game where you have to face the character, defeat them, and then you can unlock them. Which has led to countless sleepless nights with me and my cousins trying to unlock Mewtwo, Mr. Game & Watch, and so on. But as you continuously unlock characters and stages, you unlock more music as well. I think one of the best instances of music just really taking you in this game is the first time they reveal Marth as a character. Marth is a character from Fire Emblem. It's a game that I don't really know its soundtrack too well, but I know of some of it because of this game. The first time you ever fight Marth, they play this incredible, like, symphonic, like, just breakdown song. I remember the first time we tried to get Marth, hearing that song for the first time, I was like, yo, what is happening? I was like, whoa, oh my god. It's exhilarating. It's very, very, very exciting to see specific characters just take on this, like, incredible theme just to encapsulate one character that you could potentially unlock. I don't even have to say anything. Hearing that sound is terrifying because you just know the pressure's on. You get the new theme, the new song, and you immediately get put on the spot of it's time to either unlock this character or not. I mean, that was pretty fast. And they tend to use different, like, renditions of the classic music in adventure mode in all kinds of ways, which I think is very unique because it gives you like these almost like different perspectives of these video games in a brand new form. which is Super Smash Bros. I want to point a couple of highlights throughout the game that I want to talk about. I'm going to start off with my personal favorite, which is probably my favorite like rework of a song in video games ever. Brinstar Depths. Oh, how I've been wanting to talk about this ever since I was a kid, dude. This stage with this music is just... When I first started playing it, it was one of the most terrifying things ever, I'll tell you that. It's scary as a kid, but it's one of those weird turnaround things where you get terrified of it as a kid, but then you love it as an adult. And this game, this soundtrack, this specific rendition of Brinstar Depths is like, I can't tell you how much I love it. It mixes the original version of it. It makes this really awesome new version with like these really like poppy synths in the beginning. It really takes you for a ride. It's unbelievable. I have such vivid memories of playing this level as a kid, enjoying my time, but slightly freaked out. I honestly think that this level was kind of like the birthplace for my love for horror games, because they managed to take such a scary soundtrack and make it very like dynamic and like just grand. And the song really builds. They add these incredible drums halfway through. And it's just, I could talk about it forever. I've played some of the Metroid games. I have not played them all. I've played a few. But if hearing this soundtrack doesn't make you want to just completely get lost in the Metroid world, I don't know what else will. This is an absolute masterpiece. I listen to this song casually whenever I get a chance. 100 out of 10. The Fountain of Dreams. This is a good example of a video game using strings really well. Like, there's plenty of video games that have as incredible of a soundtrack as a movie does, but this one gets you going. Anytime we would play on this stage, I would always get like a little bit of an extra rush to like want to beat my friends. And this one definitely hits the nostalgia factor for me because I feel like it's the stage we've played the most. But this song is so grand. It has like trumpets, it's got strings, it's got like little soft pieces, high pieces, it's got a little bit of everything. And I think it's just so fantastic, man. I don't know if you can tell or not if I'm a Kirby fan. When I think of Super Smash Bros. Melee and I think of my childhood in general, this is the song that kind of comes back the most. Because it's very recognizable. Like, you could hear the first couple seconds of the song and you'd be like, oh, I know exactly where that's from. This is definitely the most memorable one for anyone that has played this game in the past. But this one also just shows just how far music can go. It doesn't have to necessarily be in a video game setting for it to still bring emotion out of you, bring, you know, just feeling out. Which is why I think it's so awesome that the interactiveness of this video game mixed with how good the music is, it really leads to just a very special memory. So yeah, Fountain of Dreams is one of my all-time favorite, like, songs, stages, like, aesthetics, just atmospheres in any video game, in anything really. This is one of the best, for sure. Absolutely iconic. Battlefield. Oh, Battlefield. This song has like these weird like squishy synths. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but it has really fast drums. It's like very soft drums, and like it makes me want to like start running. I don't know if I'm like running from something, but like it just makes me want to like run. I believe this is the song that they use in Race to the Finish as well. But this level is so iconic because it's very simple. It looks like you're going through a portal. And it's just like, I'm a big fan of space, so like I feel like this kind of birthed it. But yeah, very dramatic soundtrack in this level, very intense, but also still kind of like, it reminds me of like as if like you're like traveling through space in like a rocket that can free move. It's a very like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just very good. And I also don't want to be one of those guys that's like, they don't make video games like this no more. But they don't make soundtracks like this no more, I'll tell you that. It's so good. It's unbeatable. I have very good memories of doing like the 100 enemy challenge and all like those extra modes in this game on this level, and just like spending countless hours trying to beat them all because for some reason they were super duper difficult. Unbelievable. But hearing this music as you were trying to beat all these incredible achievements just kind of kept you going. It kept me going, I'll tell you that. So yeah, Battlefield, one of the best as well. This is definitely like in the top 5 best stages. Let's keep on moving. The Final Destination. Do I even have to say much? I feel like I'm not even going to spend a lot of time talking about this one. This one is a clear one of the best. Some of the best fights in history have happened on this stage. The first time I ever beat the Master Hand, I will never forget. The first time I ever beat the Crazy Hand, I will never forget. It's so grand. It's so mysterious. It's so weird. You see so many incredible backgrounds as you fight anything in this area. And yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because if you've played this game before, you should know that this is one of the greatest stages in any game ever. So yeah, Final Destination, 1,000 out of 10. Let's keep on going. Of course I'm going to talk about the Donkey Kong stages. Come on, monkey! This level gives me anxiety. Like, yeah, we could be having a great time at the top, but if you fall even a little bit into the water, you're screwed. What I like about this stage's music so much is because it has like a nice like jazz feel, and it's very groovy. It has weird like dips. There's parts where it goes kind of quiet. It goes back to like almost like a jungle jazz atmosphere, and it also blends multiple styles of Donkey Kong music. There's no other game that could just take these soundtracks that we already are so familiar with and like freshen them up this well and even bring new ideas to the table. This one's cool because it's a lot of different genre bends, I'll tell you that. This was one of my favorites to play on because I always tried to survive the longest because I always wanted to hear the music a little bit more, because the further you go into these stages, the more you'll hear just how long the tracks are. Like an average battle will last about like 2 or 3 minutes if you're all really good. But if somebody is just refusing to die, you'll hear some really weird like extra parts that you may not have heard as often as a kid, and you're like, oh wow, I don't think I've ever heard that. This is one of the ones where the song gets really weird towards the end. It's good. This is another one of my faves, but I have a few more to talk about before we get into the rest of the soundtrack. Alright, we're all adults now. What the heck is that in the background? Why is there a ball up there? Why is there a ball up there? We're all boys, right? Like, why is there a ball up there? Anyways, this is Brinstar. This soundtrack is awesome, though, because there's a lot of guitar in it, too. There's fun drums. I feel like if you've played Smash, this is comparative to the Fountain of Dreams. I feel like a lot of people remember this stage as much as they remember Fountain of Dreams. It's so unique, man. Like, stuff like this would stress me out so much as a kid. And then there's this really, really cool part in the soundtrack where it gets really quiet, and they just throw synths your way. And then they bring the drums right back in. It's like full-on tracks and full-on like experiences just to listen to these songs. And as you got better throughout the years, the longer you heard these tracks, the better you thought you were getting at the game. Because it's true. This was one of my favorites as well. I feel like everybody remembers this stage. 10 out of 10. Oh, Corneria. Let's start this out. The absolute anxiety that would go through your body if you landed anywhere near those blasters under the top of the jet. You basically knew you were dead. I like that this soundtrack uses a lot of really hardcore strings. It's very cool. As sad as it is to say, I've actually never played Star Fox 64. It is in my plans to play it for the Before 2000 series on stream very soon. So be on the lookout for that on my Twitch channel. But yeah, shout out to Corneria. I have good memories with this one. Of course, it's going to be in here. Pokemon Stadium. What I liked about this stage, too, is that it would change. It would turn into, like, the water. It would turn into, like, the rock. And it was just so dynamic. Like, the theme for this level is so just normal. But as it changes, it kind of reminds me... I don't know if anybody's going to get the same relation. It kind of reminds me of Disneyland for some reason. I don't know. I always would think of Disneyland whenever I would play on this level. But yeah, this is iconic, classic. Didn't have to talk about it too much. You already know. And one more honorable mention going to Onett. If I wasn't afraid of being hit by a car enough, this level... Why? Yeah, we're duking it out in front of the drugstore, but you're telling me I got a car to look out for too? This one was fun because you could knock players to the left or the right, and that was the only way. You couldn't fall in this area. But you always had to look out for that car. This soundtrack always made me feel happy. I'll tell you that. Like I know a few things about like Earthbound and stuff like that, but anytime we played this one, this would always put me in a good mood. It's more of a feel-good song. It's definitely rememberable, and This one always makes me think of Smash the most. And it also has this really, really cute part towards the end where it just gets very, like, almost like sweet, which I think is funny because you could just be hearing like this da, 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 as you're getting swung the heck out of by a bat. It's just like, ah, and then, ah, which I think is freaking hilarious because it's like that nice little dynamic of like happy feels and I'ma kick your ass feels, which is kind of like the point of this game. So yeah, this one is one of the most iconic as well. Anytime I see people playing Smash anywhere, I tend to see this stage the most, besides Pokemon Stadium. So yeah, this is just a good example of just how iconic these soundtracks are because they do tie back to the other video games, but they'll just live forever in these stages as long as somebody picks up a GameCube and plays this game again. Oh, also before I forget, shout out to Mute City. I forgot. Sorry. Guitar iconic. Makes me want to drive whatever vehicle I'm in at maximum speed. I'm most likely going to do an entire video about F-Zero GX. Don't worry. Incredible. But also still put in a fear of getting run over by something at a very young age, so yes! And before I keep editing, I forgot about Hyrule. Sorry. Let's move on to how the music is used in adventure mode, which is something I wanted to highlight. Oh, I've been wanting to talk about adventure mode for a minute. For a game that already has so much content, I love that they use music that's already just like the casual themes to certain games, and they give it like a new atmosphere in adventure mode. Adventure mode was so much fun because you had to like fight different versions of characters. I remember being freaked out by this Hyrule level because there's like these weird like walking guys that would like come after you, being terrified of the lava. It just gives the music a chance to paint so many different pictures in your head, which is awesome as heck. And I think sometimes they would use the Fire Emblem music in this part too as well, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like stuff like this definitely birthed my love for games like Skyrim. But yeah, Hyrule, oh man, this music is used so well in this like extension of a game. Yeah, I don't like those guys. No, thank you. Nope. But yeah, adventure mode uses the music so well. It's unbelievable. And they would also throw a lot of different game modes your way, so you had to fight like multiple Kirbys at once, which I thought was funny. I remember I used to feel really bad every time I play on this level because the Kirby was, you could basically smack the hell out of him and then he would just go flying. But it was honestly kind of funny to just see Kirby just go flying with a different hat on. It was great. Yeah, as the music goes on through each level, it really genuinely felt like you were going on an adventure every time you played this mode. And the music is a big reason as to why that is. Oh, break the targets. Games that have mini-games are always gonna get like the seal of approval from me. But the theme that would play during this was so fun. I always like remember it so well. There would be days where we're like, alright, let's beat all the break the targets. But then there's some levels where you're like, how am I supposed to get that target? Practicing so hard because I had seen a YouTube video where somebody beat it in like a record time. I remember there specifically being one level that you had to use Fox in order to get like a super duper fast speed. And I would spend hours trying to recreate it. Having to hear this song over and over again. At first hating it. And the YouTube videos for these back in the day were so fun to watch too. They're very cool. But then they would also lie to you and be like, oh, do you know Toad's in the game? And then you would try all these random strategies trying to get Toad, and then you find out, oh, he's not even real. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Or it would just be another Rickroll, which is great. Love that. The music was always fun for even a minigame mode. Let's move on to Race to the Finish. I think about 50% of the reason why this was so stressful was the music. But God, you have no idea how good I wanted to be at this at a young age. For me personally, it was such a difficult mode and it frustrated me to the max to know that there were people out there that could beat this no problem. All I wanted as a kid was to just be good at Race to the Finish. There would be certain areas that I would see as I watched other people play. I'm like, I didn't even know that that was a thing. What are you talking about? And I also remember trying really hard to get up that tube at the beginning all the time. And the music encourages you. It makes you want to run. So yeah, shout out to Race to the Finish. This is a good memory. And the last point that I want to highlight real quick, I know we talked about it earlier, is the Master Hand fight. The Final Destination soundtrack is so good, but it really is the best like theme throughout the entire game because it just really takes you in and it reminds you how far you've come. When you play the classic mode and you have to beat all the levels, especially when you start playing on like hard and very hard difficulty, getting here, just even getting to the master hand feels like an achievement. And oh my god, crazy hand. What's there to say about crazy hand? Ugh. I remember specifically one night I came home and I was like, I want to fight the crazy hand and I want to beat him because I had seen other people beat crazy hand. I had heard this song that plays while you fight crazy hand so often, but to hear it with two hands on the screen, my adrenaline just went up and up and up. I remember I was like, if you don't beat it now, you never will. And this is one of the most memorable boss fights in any video game, in my opinion. They really take like this, the atmosphere, the background, the music, the attacks, the timing that you have to have, and they just blend it all together into like the most ethereal feeling when you beat the crazy hand and the master hand. It is unlike anything else. It is one of my favorite themes. It is one of my favorite fights, and it's what really makes this game a masterpiece. That feeling of achievement that you get when the stream goes to white. 9,000 out of 10. Hearing that, the best thing in life. That's kind of what I wanted to share about this game. I wanted to take some time to highlight my favorite tracks, share some stories about like how the music connected to me as a kid, and how it will always connect to me because it just has such good memories. There were moments of like defeat, victory, frustration, relief, and just so many things that you can experience out of this one game. That's why I think it's so memorable to people. It really is. And I'm glad I got a little bit of a chance to just kind of sit down, go through the memories, go through like all the things that used to frustrate me or make me happy about this game. And just how music truly ties it all back together, which is how unbelievable of a soundtrack this game has. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you spending the time to just kind of reminisce. I will 1000% be making a video about Super Smash Bros. Brawl, because oh my god, I'm not even gonna get started. I'll do a whole video about the music of Brawl, probably a whole video about the Subspace Emissary, and so on, because I still play Smash all the time. It's not like this is a game that I've never played anymore. I still play this game a lot, actually, and I'll probably be playing it on my stream very, very soon. So if you're interested in anything like that, be sure to check out our channel at HeavyDirtySoulz. And let me know if there's any GameCube games that have music that connects with you as well to the same degree. I would love to know, because there are many games from the GameCube that I did not play back in the day, which I will get to very soon, I promise. Thank you again very much for watching. I appreciate the support. We're very close to 100 subscribers. I'll think of something to do for fun when we get there. Until then, thanks for joining me for another video, and I will see you again when I see you.
Yes!